We have live competition to watch. Crash is going on right now, but we're going to talk about it and then we'll send you over there. What's up? Let's go now.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. Got a lot going on today with Crash kicking off this morning. But what's going on, Corey? We've got See Me in the House. What song is this? I need it for my workout playlist. It is actually a royalty-free song. I'd have to go look and see what the title is for sure. John George catching his first live lunch in a couple weeks. Glad to have you here. Love when the loyal listeners can hop in for the live and join in on the chat. Going to open up on a sad note. Yesterday we lost a legend, man. We lost a legend. It is Ace Frehley passed away yesterday. When I was growing up, it's a crazy story. When I was growing up, I think it was like in third grade, you could bring in albums on a certain day of your music class and you could play them. And in my little elementary school, we would fight over who was the better band. And it always came down to Styx or Kiss. And they were like the two bands that we always played every week in music class. People would bring in their different albums and we would play them and stuff. But my mom did not let me listen to Kiss. She would not buy me Kiss albums. She wouldn't do any of that stuff. So, of course, the minute I became old enough to buy them myself, I bought all the albums. I started to listen to that. And Kiss became very popular. When I was younger, Styx was my favorite band. Then it became Kiss. And I ended up seeing Kiss like 6 times in concert, a couple times with Ace. And Ace was such a great showman. I think that's what Kiss brought to the rock scene, probably more than anybody, was the show that went around the whole thing. And Ace was famous for like playing the guitar behind his head and setting his guitar on fire and continuing to play it while it was burning. And then it would like float up into the air and it would explode. At the end of the concert, he would smash the guitar. It was all of the crazy stuff that as a kid you just thought was the coolest thing ever. And we lost him. And a lot of today's guitarists have looked to Ace as their hero growing up. And Mike McCready from Pearl Jam said he never would have picked up a guitar if it wasn't for Ace Frehley. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine attributes Ace as his big hero. He has influenced so many people. And I've watched, because I was restricted from doing anything Kiss as a kid, when I got to be older, I watched every documentary, everything about the band. One Christmas, my wife got me the Kiss Anthology, which was like a 3-box set DVD set. It was massive, that had so much concert footage and so many interviews and so many documentaries and all of that stuff. And I took it all in. So today I'm saddened by his loss and that he is gone. But I hope people take a moment to just kind of determine or just take a listen to what the guy did. Like some of the riffs he made up, like Cold Gin and in a New York Groove, and they just were really cool guitar riffs. And he was a really great guitar player. And I think it got lost in the showmanship of Kiss and the makeup and all of that stuff. But musically, he was really, really good. And we've lost him. So play a song today for him, do whatever. But he is a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Kiss was going to be recognized at the Kennedy Center Honors this December. He passed away not being able to take part in that, which is pretty sad. But yeah, I just wanted to, I've always said on this show, my two loves are sports and music. And I love music, and I loved Kiss, and I loved Ace, and sad to see him go. Andrew Stan, I'm not sure there are influential musicians today like there were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, especially guitarists. Ace, Eddie, Pete Townsend, Jimmy, Eric Clapton, but I also don't listen to much new. There's not much guitar in new music. And everything is like amplified with electric. Hell, AI is taking over stuff. Like everything is overproduced. What the 60s, 70s, and 80s were, and I know I sound like the guy on the porch yelling at the clouds, but that is who I am. I love live music. I hate when it's pre-recorded. I hate when it's lip synced. I hate all that stuff. And I think that in the past, then what's happening now, Andrew, is if there are even guitars in the music, it's so overproduced that it's not natural anymore. You don't get the passion and the emotion that you got in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So that is my old guy take. Take it or leave it, but that is what it is. So I think you're dead on accurate. I just think the reason why is we overproduce everything today. Nothing is the way the musician intended it to be. It's more what is mainstream, what gets you clicks, what gets you downloads, all of that kind of stuff. Kind of like everything else we talk about with the modern social media and all of that. So yeah. Watched a little bit of Crash this morning. They just finished up the men's heats. They're just starting the women's heats of event 1. So I thought this would be I'm going to come on at 12:15 anyway. That's my time, but it's a kind of a good time because we're just getting the early heats of the women at this point. The men's heats were pretty good. I want to say the stream has been pretty awesome. Easy to watch. My only bummer is I love my Masters athletes, and I tuned in to watch the first heat or the women's heat of Masters. And when I tuned in, Caroline Klutz was already done, and the rest of the people were just kind of working out around her. She seemed to dominate event 1. For the men, nobody completed the workout, which is crazy. Rudy Berger ended up winning the event or the heat, and it came down to him and Tom. And then the last name is escaping me. Neither one could hit the 305 bar. But Rudy got there first, so he got the win. So there it is. I was named after a song by Eric Clapton. I don't know anyone that was named after a song released in the last 10 years. That's probably good. And I don't know who this is because they've switched to these usernames. So all I can see is 10110001. So are you Layla? Are you... I don't know. Layla's the only one I would know from Clapton, I think. So it is Layla. There we go. All right, now I know. Holly hasn't had a chance to watch any of it yet. My thoughts on the stream. Gosh, I love John Young as a color analyst. I think that We need more of that in the space. His passion, his excitement really comes through, and I think we need more of that to bring other audience members into the space. So I'm really, really enjoying that. I think we're playing the game right now where Bill is trying to rein in John a little bit, and John is at full send. But I like the full send John. So we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the weekend. He needs to not talk over people and let them finish their damn thought. I did notice that some. I believe everybody's talking over each other right now. Right now, they're just trying to figure out their way with the 3-person booth. Man, my throat is dry. So I just did the therapy the doctor gave me with the moose call, and it is cleared out my throat, but it's so dry now I can't even talk. They were talking about that on WOD Prep this morning, talking over people and learning that skill. Yeah, I think that a 3-person booth is hard anyway. If you're doing this and you have 3 people all watching the same event, it's hard not to step on each other's toes. And hopefully, as the weekend goes on, they'll kind of catch their groove with that. Who is the third? The third is Savon. So it's Savon, Bill, and John. And Savon basically, I think what he's there for really is to like keep the sponsor stuff up, all of those things, where the other 2 are watching the action. But I think he does see some things he wants to mention, and it's creating some interesting conversation, but they are kind of stepping on each other's toes a little bit. But again, I think it's first event. As the weekend goes on, you're going to see a lot more chemistry there, and hopefully things will move a lot smoother as that happens. The camera work is really good right now. The picture is crystal clear. I don't know what they've done from an internet standpoint over the last couple years, but the improvement there is ridiculously good. There's no pixelating of the picture at all. And so really, really like it. They have some still cameras. They have some moving cameras. They have one still camera above the rig that's beside the floor that gets the whole floor at once. And then they have people walking around with cameras, and it's been really smooth and I think really good. Love Savon, but not his lane, just my opinion. Savon asks questions that he knows the answer to in order to provide information to the people watching. I can see that. I think he's also trying to keep sponsors happy, and kind of direct a little bit. He also thinks you should run to the bar after the first round. Yeah, I don't think that. I think John has made it abundantly clear that that is probably not the strategy on this workout, especially if you're not super fit, like the upper end top, the Coltons of the world. That this should be paced a lot more. And just as I say no pixelation, their screen just pixelated. So, but not too bad. And I'll show you. It's a really crystal clear picture. I have it up here on my other screen, just so you guys can see. The picture's great. It is crystal clear. It is as good as anything else I've seen out there. So good for them, man. They have started to master this thing. So I don't want to get into too much trouble. As if you want to watch the event, this is heat 1 of the women going right now. And if you're interested in it, you can go over and watch them after this show or during the show, whatever you need to do. Frida says, scrap the star length in favor of black fiber, maybe. I don't even know what that is. You are talking at a language I don't understand. Sevi knows nothing about competing. To be fair, he knows, and has said so. Yeah. Again, I'm really enjoying the commentary by John. I do think Simi has a point where they are talking over each other a little bit, trying to get their points in. But again, I think that will iron itself out as the weekend goes on. And we'll have a full update on Crash on Sunday night with Jamie and Carolyn. I've already been getting texts from Jamie about her thoughts on this workout. And I'll save those for Sunday night because of her. But from a spectator standpoint, the only thing I'll say about this workout for me is it's not the most exciting thing to watch. Toes to bar, double unders, and heavy cleans. It does seem to be coming down to that final clean. Can you do it or not? And the people that can are getting good times. And then there's a lot of people failing on that final bar. And so that's a little bit exciting just to see if they can pull off the final clean. But I wish the races were a little tighter for the excitement as opposed to can they or can't they? And it's got a 20-minute cap. Colton, without no surprise there, won the first event, and he won by over a minute. So that wasn't very close. And so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe the other events will have a little bit more racing to them. Here, it's just really hard. And the other thing that is hard for the spectator point of view is the floor is set up head to head. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes going one direction, 4 lanes coming in at each other. And it's really hard to see the race when they're on opposite ends of the field. That's what the Masters did 2 years ago at the games, and it was really hard to see those races. I don't think it's the best way to run this type of competition, but maybe just with space, that's all they could do. I did see Shanna, our friend Shanna Bunce, it's in the chat all the time. She was on in the crowd watching from the sideline there. I saw her. So that was pretty cool. I know Judy Reed is down there trying to get her hogwash because Colton is starting to, he's not selling his soap, but if you buy a Vindicate item, you get a bar of Colton soap free. And it's called Hogwash. But they're just waiting on the packaging to be able to actually sell them. So that's coming soon too. So that's about all I have on Crash. I'll be watching it throughout the day and all weekend, and we'll talk about it on Sunday night for sure. But it's just getting started. Again, the women haven't even, we're still on heat 1 of event 1. And I think there's 4 or 5 heats. So there was 5 heats of men. So I'm guessing around 5 heats of women. So we got a little ways to go before we finish this event. And again, 20-minute cap on this. So could be a few hours before we get to the end. Next thing I wanted to talk about real quick is yesterday CrossFit announced a new podcast. So they had the CrossFit podcast that had James Hobart, Dave Castro, and Seth Jumpship on, talking about should the games and CrossFit be together or separate. But to open that podcast, they had Chase Ingram on and made the announcement that there is going to be a new podcast called The Sport of Fitness. It will be on the CrossFit Games channel, and it will be hosted by Chase Ingram. So that was announced yesterday. My thoughts on that are, and this is no dig at Chase at all. So don't fire at me, because I like Chase. I love Chase. But when you're putting up a new podcast with a host that has been out in the space for the last few years, it's hard for me to get excited thinking we're going to get something new when I know what Chase thinks. Chase has been very open on other shows. He has his own show with Get With The Programming. So what am I getting new from you, CrossFit, with a host that has been very visible for the past few years? Now, they did say that Dave would be on there quite frequently, that they would have updates, and that it would be a place where they would release information about the CrossFit Games season from a sport perspective. So if now we do have a place where we can go and hear all the announcements and know what's coming up and not have to dive into Dave's Instagram or Dave's Week in Review or all these other places where we go to find the news, I do like that aspect of it. And maybe this gives Chase some access that he didn't have on Get With The Programming or when he was just doing the CrossFit podcast. Maybe this actually gives him more in-depth knowledge as to what's going on. So we're going to get things that we haven't got. But just on its face, I worry that we're not getting anything new. So that is my biggest concern with this, as I think we all know how Chase feels about things. And that's not a bad thing. It's just not a new thing. So it's hard to get excited for that. If that makes, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on that as well. Because I know some people really love Chase. But I like Chase. I get along with him really well. He's a good guy. I just don't know what we're getting new. John George, so funny. I thought the exact same thing. Yeah, I think he's going to do a fine job. I just don't know what we're getting new out of this. And Dave was really pumping it up like we were getting something completely brand new. And again, maybe the access and the things that they're going to do are going to be different. But just waiting to see. John George, not jazzed. So I've been looking at making the jazzed sheet t-shirts. I'm trying to find a place I can get them that's affordable for everybody. That's been my struggle. Every place I've mocked them up, the price is not where I want it. I was hoping to have them ready to go for pre-order when we hit 3K. We are 27 subscribers away from 3K. And so I'm hoping we hit that soon, and then we'll release the shirt when we hit 3K as kind of a celebration. So that's kind of the thoughts. I'm going to work on finding a vendor to be able to do that. With CrossFit, it seems like we're always just waiting to see. Yeah. It almost feels like they finally understand the pull of a podcast after seeing how things are for the rest of you. Well, I think it's also this thing where they can control their own narrative a little bit more. And Dave even said it yesterday on the CrossFit podcast, like, we'll be the ones leaking information instead of all the rest of the podcasts. But you're still going to have to keep it quiet till you announce it on your show, which has seemed to be an issue over the last few years. And so I think that Sean might be right too. And I do think, Frida, here's the other point I was going to try to make. Having a place where you're releasing information is a good thing. It's something I've been begging for them to do for a long time, to have one place to find news, to find where things are released, to be able to hear from Dave, to be able to hear from the executives as to why they're doing what they're doing. So I think that's a good thing. And I do think they finally realized that long form podcasting can be a great thing. Sean in Oregon also makes a good call. Territorial grab, calling a media series sport of fitness, sets up the ability to trademark the phrase and keep competition from using it. Yeah, they've got to get approved for it though too. And there may be too many other entities out there doing that for them to get the trademark approved, in my opinion. But I think it is a territorial grab to try to, in their minds, control the message more about the third party media than it is even about like the competitors of WFP, High Rocks, all of those things. I think this is to grab market share back from third party media. But when they got rid of their media department and opened it up to the world, I don't think you can get the genie back in the bottle. And that may be what they're trying to do. I hope it's for more valid reasons, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one until I see. But I think that if they're doing it to get the genie back in the bottle and have more control, I don't like that, and I don't think they'll be successful. But I think CrossFit mentioned it the other day. Like the NFL has the NFL Network. Major League Baseball has Major League Baseball Network. They are owned by the companies that run the sport, and it's a way to control the message and make announcements and things like that. But that didn't hurt ESPN. It didn't hurt Fox. It didn't hurt CBS from doing what they do in reporting on the sport on the day-to-day. So there you have that. And that's really everything that I have on my docket for today. The phrasing is interesting as well. Do you think it's an opening to be able to try to get some of the others in as well? I don't believe so. Frida, I don't think they're willing to play nice yet because the other entities haven't played nice. Well, at least WFP. I don't know what their relationship is with High Rocks or the people at High Rocks, but I know they've made statements publicly and articles and things that were not nice about CrossFit. So I don't think they're willing to jump in the same pool as them in a media perspective. But I see what you're saying. It does kind of open it up if there's a merger of some sort or something like that, that they could take those on into this podcast as well. With that, don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Again, we are 27 subscribers away from 3K. Man, it'd be awesome if we hit that by Thanksgiving, but I'm good with the end of the year. When we do that, hopefully we'll release the new Jazz t-shirts available for pre-order. And Heat 2 of the women at Crash is just about to kick off. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great weekend. Head on over to the Sevon Media or Sevon Podcast web YouTube channel if you want to catch the rest of Crash. Local Comp is the leaderboard for all of that as well. Go check that out. Data Wad, our great friend Holly, has put links to both of those on her story. So go to her story and click on those links. If you want to watch Crash or you want to see the leaderboard, you can do that there. With that, I'm going to get back to work. You knuckleheads need to get back to work as well. With that, we will see everybody Sunday night for Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. And we're going to break down Crash. We're going to talk about the events. We're going to talk about the athletes. And then we'll probably do a little bit of preview of Rogue. And we'll talk about all that then. And I can't wait to see everybody there. With that, have a great day, everybody. See you soon.